Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and I am not okay with this. It's a show that has just dropped on Netflix. Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about the new season, its ending, and where things could be going. We're also going to be giving our thoughts on the series, and if you haven't seen it, why you should check it out. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to watch the show yet and don't want to know what happens, then I highly suggest that you turn off now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to never miss a video, as we do breakdowns like this every day. Anyway, with that out of the way, I just want to give a huge thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of I'm Not Okay With This.
What's he doing?
Just wait. Hey.
I Am Not Okay With This opens with a callback to Carrie, and the show actually centers around the lead up to a similar sort of plot point as the finale of that film, with there being a big outburst at a prom. The show jumps back and forth between the build up to this and the aftermath of it, making for a mystery that drives a lot of the season. It's not the most original premise, but it's rare that we see a coming of age story set at a high school that's mixed with a superhero origin. I'm kidding, it's been done a lot. After this brief teaser for the ending, the show instantly throws us into the life of a high schooler named Sydney, played by Sophia Lillis. Sydney lives in Pennsylvania in what could be described as the height of mediocrity. Due to the death of her dad, she lashes out and has anger issues. This anger begins to manifest in telekinetic powers, and the season centers around Sydney learning to deal with these gifts, her mental health, and life as a high school student. Netflix seems to be picking from the cast of it, with Georgie featuring in Lock and Key recently, and Beverly and Stan heading this one up. Interestingly, the actor who plays Stan is also called Stan in this show, so yay, my brain doesn't have to do any extra work. Don't think too much, brain, you'll hurt yourself. Obviously, all of the trio are phenomenal actors, and the two definitely bring their A game to I'm Not Okay With This, providing nuanced and grounded performances that make them extremely relatable. Sydney's powers tend to come to the forefront whenever she gets enraged, and this can lead to nosebleeds, stopping taps from running, and pulling signs out of their foundations. All of the characters are really likeable, and the slick editing, fast pacing, and rocking soundtrack make the series a blast to get through. I kinda feel like just getting a playlist of these songs, as they really complete the style that the show is going for, and it's a fantastic use of music. The season itself also clocks in at just 7 episodes, ranging between 20 to 25 minutes. Often with Netflix series, I feel like they overstay their welcome and drag things out to fit an hour runtime, and I always find this weird as Netflix shows don't have commercials and they're streamed, so they really can be any length. I Am Not Okay With This doesn't do that, and because of it, it doesn't feel formulaic, and I am okay with this. Sydney begins dating Stanley, but things become complicated when she kisses her friend Dina after a party. Struggling with her sexuality and a rejection by Dina, she runs off into the night, unleashing a powerful scream that completely shakes her surroundings. Stan stumbles across this and slowly becomes her mentor due to his knowledge of comic books. It becomes a comic book in a comic book story, and they unearth the rage that drives her abilities. This draws the eyes of another superpowered being, which, from the brief glimpses that we see, is a man that can turn into smoke. Now, there isn't a big superhero showdown that the show leads up to, and actually, for the most part, stays relatively simplistic, with the ending of the show feeling more like the setup for things going ahead. I'll talk about that in just a bit, but I have to go over a couple of things just before we discuss the ending. During this time, she discovers that Dina's boyfriend cheated on her, and this causes a lot of conflict at school. Dina finds out, and Dina's ex blames Sydney for it, and this plays into his actions in the final episode. Slowly, Sid becomes more and more attracted to Dina, but it's initially an unrequited love that adds a love triangle to the story that ultimately leads to everyone ending up confused. Sid also unearths the truth about her father, who we learn was a Marine. Sid's father suffered from PTSD and went through similar things to the protagonist. During an explosion on his last tour, he was left the sole survivor, and thus we can assume that he was the cause of it, similar to how Sid would eventually cause a death at the prom. The guilt caused him to apparently commit suicide, but I'll get into my theories on this in just a bit. It It all comes to a head at the prom when Dina's ex announces to the school that she's a lesbian, and just as he's about to reveal her superpowers, she makes his head explode. It's probably the best moment of the season, and it brings everything up to speed with the show finally ending up where it began. She flees to an outpost and is then confronted by a stalker. Now to me, this is clearly her father, and I think it's safe to assume that he faked his own death. They did say in the season that he never left a note, and though not unheard of, it is uncommon for this in suicides. I know I'm generalising a lot there, and people do commit suicide without leaving things behind, but typically in TV shows, they just use notes for dramatic effect, and with this being absent here, I do think that it backs up the theory that he's still alive. If he didn't die, then there would be no reason to leave a note, and therefore we can guess that this is him. We know that during the huge event that happened when he was on tour, a giant gas cloud came from it, and as we know this character can change into smoke, there is definitely a connection there between the two. He's also been following Sydney, and this is probably because he was worried that she may inherit his abilities, and if she did, she would not know what to do with them. I definitely don't think that he's a malevolent figure, rather I believe that he will be her mentor who will help her to control her abilities so she doesn't go off like he did. Clearly she has the ability to kill, and if left unchecked, this could lead to her murdering many similar to how he did. As for Sydney herself, though the police seem to be after her, I don't think that they would be able to tie her to the death purely because she didn't touch the character, and there were several witnesses around that saw this. There's no way to prove that someone psychically killed someone, so I do think that she will definitely be in the clear. If there is another season, I believe that her father will train her, and slowly he will come back into the picture, which will cause many problems in the family. It teases a lot for the future, and I'm very interested to see what happens next. Now before we get into the review of the season, I just want to let you know we're giving away a free copy of the Infinity Saga box set to one random subscriber. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts on the show in the comment section below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of March, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Okay, so I did have a lot of fun with I'm Not Okay With This. I haven't read the graphic novels, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I went into this completely blind without even seeing the trailer, and just in general didn't have any idea of what was going on. Now, since writing the script for this video, I have went back and read other reviews to see what people thought about it, and I was really surprised to see that it didn't have that many positive reviews. On the contrary, I have seen pretty mediocre to negative ones, but I did enjoy it. Now whether this changes or not after it releases worldwide, we're gonna see, but I think it deserves a lot of praise. Sophia Lillis does a great job at dealing with the main character's struggle, and she balances being unlikable at points when the character lashes out to being very charming and someone that you can easily get behind. It's quite a complex thing to be able to do, but the actor handles it really well in my opinion. I think that the soundtrack is phenomenal, and due to the season's length, it doesn't overstay its welcome. The show is edited really well, and because of it, it's a breeze to get through. It worked for me on a lot of levels, and I found the humour and characters in general to be nice representations of high school life and the complexities that come with it. Though it's a pretty simple story and comic book adaptations are a dime a dozen right now, I Am Not Okay With This was something that I had a lot of fun with. I would love to see more, so the series definitely did its job, and that's why it gets a 7 out of 10. Okay, so that's our review of I'm Not Okay With This. Obviously, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the season and whether you enjoyed it or not. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please click the thumbs up button, and make sure you check out our full breakdown of this month's other big Netflix release, Narcos Mexico Season 2, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over all of the ins and outs of the show and talk about the real life story behind it, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. You get access to content early and can also suggest video topics and breakdowns. We massively appreciate it, and it goes a long way to helping videos like this get made. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with heavy spoilers, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this. You've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.